Hello art friends! It has been a very long time since I have done any kind of art blog or art video, probably about a month or so. It takes a long time to make these videos and I just don't have the time with two young boys, and I've been doing a lot of graphic design, and I've had a large commission painting I've been working on that I'm going to reveal at some point very soon, and I've just been too busy, so here we go. I'm going to try to do a little bit today. I've been focusing more on oil painting and just trying to figure out what my style is. I came back to this painting after about a year. I just had let it sit because I felt like I wasn't doing it right. But now I've come back and I really like how much my skills have improved in just a year of really practicing oil painting. This is my youngest son. He wants to be in my video. Other things I've been working on, I varnished these with a satin varnish. This one and this one. These both are for sale still. I super like them. I would hang both of these up in my house. I actually want to focus on some larger paintings kind of in this style, this color scheme. Since my last video, I actually did highlight my hair pink, like I said. It's faded a little bit, I really like it.
Balloons yet.
Some other stuff I worked on recently is my oil painting. I've tried some of this impasto style. You can see it at an angle. It's very raised and bumpy, and I have never painted in that style before, so this was my first attempt at that, and I really liked how that turned out. This is an acrylic painting, and I put some gold on it, and I super like how that turned out. It's kind of not as realistic as some of the things I paint. The clouds are very solid looking, but I thought the gold contrasted well with that. And this one is not for sale. It's already found its permanent home. Another thing that I did was go on a trip to San Diego with my family. We haven't been on a very big vacation like that in a long time, so we ended up going to an art museum, and I got very inspired again to paint. And as an artist, I don't go to enough art museums, so I was glad that we got to go to one. I saw Monet and Degas and a lot of the Impressionists that I'm really fond of, and a lot of just a wide variety of art at the San Diego Art Museum. And I noticed a few things. First thing I noticed was when you get up close to a piece of art, I feel like there's this assumption that it's going to be super detailed, and the closer you get, the more detailed it is, and it's just awe-inspiring and amazing how detailed it is. And the thing is, it's not. When you step back, you can see the whole painting, but as you get closer, you see the brush strokes and the bumps and just the texture of the painting and the imperfections, and it just reminded me that it's not the hyper realism that makes the painting really good. It's a lot of other qualities about the painting, and I feel like non-artists get caught up in the hyper realism, and the more accurate you can get to real life, the better the painting is. And I feel like a little bit of that I've gotten caught up in, because most people who look at my art aren't artists, so they really get attached to the ones that look more realistic, and they'll say, wow, that one is amazing because it's more realistic. And so I've kind of gotten on that bandwagon, and I've been trying to just make my paintings more realistic, and I feel like it almost has stopped me from making better art choices, because I'm just making the choice to make it look more realistic. And so I thought that was such a great reminder for me that you want to see the paint strokes in some places, and the texture, and art is about more than just hyper realism. The other thing I noticed was the colors are just so much more vibrant, like iridescent or maybe even fluorescent. Like some of these paintings from even hundreds of years ago, the blue just pops and glows, and it's nothing like you see in books and online. Like you have to see the art in real life. And it reminded me again that I really can push those bright colors. Like that's what art is all about. And so I've really gotten inspired to like paint with some more brighter colors in the undertones and just really embrace those bright colors. And the other thing I noticed was the lighting is super significant. Like the paintings that really jumped out at me had this quality of the lighting where you see the highlights and most of the painting is in the shadows, and you just see that heavy contrast between the lights and the shadows, and it just super improves the composition. And that's just some things that I feel like I was reminded of going to the art museum. And the other thing that we did was go to the desert, the Anza-Borrego State Park in Southern California. It's just about a mile, an hour and a half east of San Diego. So we drove out there, and the landscapes are so different from what I'm used to seeing in Tennessee in the forests. And I feel like there's something very awe-inspiring about the vastness of the desert and the differences. And I feel super inspired to paint a lot of desert landscapes. And sorry about, I also caught a cold while I was out there. If you like this, hit like and subscribe and hit the bell, wherever the bell is, that notification if you want to hear about my videos. And that's about it. Share it too. Okay, until next time, keep painting. It's probably ready for a new layer. Really test it out. There you go.